Thank you very much, and I'd like to also thank the organizing committee for recognizing our work in the breast cancer reconstruction space. I know that we're very proud of what we do, and in order to have this recognized by this committee means a lot to our organizations and to our investors right now. As I mentioned, AieXpanders Inc. is in the business of helping women recover their bodies after the ravages of cancer. Breast cancer is a significant issue not only in the United States but really around the world as well. When I had the opportunity to join this company, some of the things that I've looked for throughout my career are compelling technology, an absolute need not only in U.S. but also international markets, and a driving, compelling reason for physicians and patients to want to acquire and utilize that technology as well. And after spending about 25 years in the medical device business, about 16 of those years were with the Boston Scientific Corporation. I've also run and packaged and sold orthopedic companies, and most recently was the CEO for Avantis Medical Systems here in the Valley, or here in the Silicon Valley. It's a great honor to be associated with this group. Something that is a lightning rod for media. It's a lightning rod for events that happen really around the world, and it's something that is being paid attention to more and more. We see more technologies available for diagnosing this condition, and also more treatments that are coming down the path as well. Our device specifically works in the area of after a woman goes through a mastectomy, helping the woman recover her body for those people that have asked to go forward with reconstructive surgery to essentially create a pocket where a permanent implant can reside. So the current situation, and I apologize for some of the graphic nature of the next few slides, but there again, you're in the life sciences section, so you can pretty much expect anything. The current procedure today is fairly lengthy and time-consuming. It takes women up to about 6 months to achieve full expansion with essentially saline balloons that are implanted under the pectoral muscle in the patients. The woman has to return to the physician's office every week for a needle to be stuck through her chest and into the expander to fill it with a bolus amount of saline. Needless to say, this is uncomfortable for the patient and is not very desirous of the group that's working on the patient here as well. As you see listed here, there's also a fairly unsatisfying cosmetic result of this expansion. Now, this isn't what this patient will look like at the end of the procedure, but she has to endure this type of a look through her recovery process. Fortunately, in this category, unlike many medical technologies, reimbursement is fixed. So the Healthcare Women's Initiative in 1998 made it such that CMS and private payers cover reimbursement for these procedures on both the breast that's being operated on and on the contralateral side to achieve symmetry. However, because the women have to come back on a weekly basis to the physician's office, those visits are not covered. So what we wanted to take a look at basically was both from a surgeon and from a patient perspective. We wanted to reduce time for the physician. We wanted to be able to achieve a very good cosmetic result. And for the patient, we wanted to see what we could do to reduce the pain, the time involved, and really minimize the inconvenience of the woman having to come back and forth for what she basically dreads, which is facing the needle every week. What we did is we went out and we talked to patients. I know crazy things happen when you talk to people that your device is intended for. So we did a little bit of voice of the customer, both with patients and with physicians. And the patients were resoundingly clear with regards to what they didn't like about the cases that were happening today. And what they said is, look, these expanders are uncomfortable. They dread going in for these weekly needle injections, et cetera. And many women just opt out of reconstruction in general because of this fact. So the interesting thing about this is about 400,000 women every year will be diagnosed with breast cancer. About 250,000 women will go through a mastectomy. Yet only about 85,000 will go through reconstructive surgery. Now that's amazing, particularly considering the fact that unfortunately half of the women that are going through this and being diagnosed with cancer aren't even being told of their reconstructive options. So there's a big educational opportunity that takes place here that we too are playing a part in. We talked to the physicians, and basically what they came back and said is, look, if you can make this needle-free, if you can make this easier on the patient, if you can make better use of our in-office resources, and we can achieve a real positive cosmetic result, then absolutely we'll be interested in this technology. So in working with a Bay Area plastic surgeon and a serial entrepreneur, one of our investors from Shalom Ventures, we've developed the Aeroform device. Now, as opposed to using saline expansion as the filling medium, this expansion is achieved by using compressed CO2 in a very small reservoir that's actually in the device itself. Instead of the woman having to come back for weekly saline injections, she essentially takes a handheld dose controller with point-and-click technology, pairs it with the device, presses the button, and a second later a very small 10 cc dose of CO2 is delivered. Now, from a safety perspective, we've rendered it also very effective for the patient. The patient can dose up to 3 times a day in 10 cc increments with a 3-hour lockout between doses. There's also a 24-hour lockout between dose 1 and dose 4, so that, again, she can't put more volume in than what is being prescribed by her physician. We've got a very elegant design on this product as well. It achieves a very anatomical shape, as opposed to the picture you saw in one of the earlier slides. The software allows for treatment flexibility. Many of these patients are going through chemotherapy and concurrent radiation therapy. So if they're particularly too sick one day to dose, they can take a day off and come back to it the next day. But our hypothesis early on was that we would be able to achieve expansion much quicker than what a woman could with the current treatment methodology. Again, that current treatment takes between 4 to 5 months to achieve full expansion. What we've done is a faster and more convenient method. It's less painful for the patient. There are no needles involved. It's obviously a better cosmetic result, and we believe that the physicians will find this very attractive as well due to the improved use of resources and not having to manage these patients on a week-after-week basis. So from a development standpoint, all of our bench testing has been completed with flying colors. We have achieved successful preclinical results in our animal trials that have been accepted by the Aesthetic Surgery Journal, and we've also completed our feasibility trial, or our first feasibility trial, which took place in Australia. In that trial, we treated 7 patients and 10 expanders because for those that know this space, some patients are bilateral patients as opposed to unilateral patients. And the results from this study have also been accepted by the largest plastic and surgery reconstructive journal in the world. What we found on this is that we are able to get patients to their full expansion not in 4 months, not in 5 months, not in 3, not in 2, but in 15 days. So we're able to get them to full expansion in 2 weeks, where they would have to take somewhere in the neighborhood of, again, 4 to 5 months using standard saline expanders. Other possibilities for this technology include burn victims, pediatrics, and trauma, which are also very significant from an operating theater perspective. We are in the process of working through our technology with the FDA. We expect to hear back very soon on our IDE trial, which will be a randomized controlled study, which will be done in the United States. And we're also seeking international distribution in very select markets for this technology as well. So we believe overall that we've been able to accomplish our objectives in meeting not only the surgeon's needs, but the patient's needs here as well. All of our focus groups are extremely positive with regards to receptivity on a technology that's federally mandated on the reimbursement front, and we're looking forward to receiving positive news back from the FDA. One never knows with our friends in Washington. However, we also have a very strong contingency plan, as I mentioned, in select international markets. Again, I'd like to thank the selection committee for approving and recognizing our company, and thank you very much for your time.